So the portfolio comparison tool is probably the easiest feature to get your head around because it doesn't really rely on this left-hand side of your screen for a change. On the right-hand side, all you've got to do is go to the Reports tab, select Portfolio Comparison, and select a portfolio versus another. Now there's a couple of use cases for this. You might want to use it for when you're trying to convince someone to completely overhaul what they have at the moment and move into what you're suggesting. Or it could just be a very subtle tweak. They've got something that you recommended to them last year, you're happy with most of it, but you just want to make a little alteration to the portfolio and basically generate a report that will compare A versus B. So in this case, I want to select client's existing portfolio, which is this one, Andrew Davies portfolio, and I want to compare that against my proposed model portfolio 3, that one. If you click on generate, that will generate a nice little report that will compare the two portfolios side by side and ultimately justify the reasons why you're proposing one over the other. At the moment, I'm proposing he moves away from what he has at the moment because there's the cost difference, there's the holdings difference, there's the difference in the performance, net of charges. We're red, he's blue. At the moment, again, segueing back to the risk profile is saying he should be taking a certain level of risk, and that's why we're recommending this red line, which takes a slightly higher level of risk purposely compared to what he's doing at the moment. And to achieve that higher level of risk, he needs to blend his assets differently. He needs to blend them like this as opposed to this, and that will create the suitable level of risk as per his risk profile, hopefully a good level of return if the markets work in our favour, and indeed if there's anything missing, I can simply add that in at the very top. Equally, if I want to change anything in the report, I can use this little settings tab at the very top. Every part of that report ultimately has its own tick box. So if I don't want to look at sectors, regions, ratios, in fact, I don't want anything to do with performance because I might already have a nice couple of charts already going through the different performance measurements of these portfolios beside each other, I can simply rework the report. Now that's going to be on a much neater one page, showing me what I want to show the client. The difference in the holdings, the charges, the volatility, and the asset allocation, and PDF once you're ready with your logo, send that across to the client. Now, if I come back to the original report before I changed it, if you scroll down, you'll notice throughout a lot of the report, it's referencing the benchmark, how the portfolios have compared against the benchmark, and in this case, it's the FTSE All-Share. Indeed, the FTSE All-Share is the default benchmark to pretty much every portfolio you build in analytics. And if I come back to the main screen, you'll see on the right-hand side, when I created the report initially, I actually specified, again as a default, that I wanted the portfolio's own benchmark to be the benchmark on the report. Now, how do I change the benchmark? There's a couple of ways to do this. I could go back to the original portfolio. So if I open up my model portfolio 3, for example, you'll see on the right-hand side under benchmark, it automatically shows me it's a FTSE All-Share. So I might want to change that to something else. So say I wanted it to be the RPI. So under market index on the left-hand side, type RPI, enter, find it. And you'll notice on every selection box on the left-hand side, not only do you have an add button, you've got a little downward arrow button as well that says add as benchmark. And you can click on that, it will add the benchmark, and you can click on save, and that will now save that as the official benchmark to that portfolio. So when I go and create a portfolio comparison report, it will always compare it against, in this case, RPI. Alternatively, you get yourself back to this main screen, you can select the benchmark on the left-hand side. So if I use RPI again, select market indices, find RPI, enter, should find it, click on add. And now you'll see on the right-hand side, the benchmark initially was portfolio's own benchmark, which is the official benchmark of the portfolios you're selecting. But now by virtue of selecting RPI on the left, you'll see that I can now change that to RPI. So when I click on generate report, I'll get practically the same report as we first created, but throughout the report now, it's going to be referencing the new benchmark for this particular report, which happens to be RPI. So I hope you found that little tutorial useful. As ever, any questions, feel free to hit chat with an expert in the bottom right for our live chat with our help desk. And on the left-hand side, under contact us, I'll give you details for their email address and phone number, open from 8 till 6 every day.